it. Well, John, do you want to get started? Should we let Dakota go? I mean, you two figure out which one of you wants to go first.
I think it's great to have Dakota open us up and
Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Welcome, everybody. Glad you guys are all here. And great to be among all these beautiful, beautiful teachers here tonight. And before I do open space, John, thank you for bringing this to the collective here. It's very important what we're talking about tonight. So for everybody who is in Cyberland here on Insight Timer, if you can just take a pause from your texting and just be in your space for a moment, taking a deep breath. And feel the amount of gratitude just that we have the ability to be in community globally and even soulfully in with all the ethers of all the spirits of all those who are here with us. I want to call to the sacred directions, the living energies of the medicine wheel, to anchor this space and to balance this, to balance us, and to bring in wisdom. To the east, the rising sun, the place of vision and new beginnings. Bring us clarity in our words, that we may speak from the deepest truth of our soul. To the south, the waters of emotion and sacredness of relationships and of the heart that beats in all living things. Help us open to love and to vulnerability, to listen with curiosity and courage. To the west, the fires of change and transformation guide us in meeting discomfort with grace, allowing our hearts to soften, to heal, and to grow. To the north, the wisdom of our ancestors, the breath of the unseen, offer us steadiness, integrity, and the knowing that we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. I call to the sky above, to the realm of spirit, and to the earth below, our foundation and home for which we stand on daily. Hold us in the sacred in-between, where we may weave something lasting, something real. I call to the ancestors of this land, to those who have walked these paths before us. May we tread with honor and deep, deep, humble respect. I call to our own ancestors, those of blood and spirit, the ones who whisper wisdom into our hearts. May we remember their sacrifices, their lessons, their love. And I call to our higher selves, the parts of us who know only love, the deepest and truest versions of who we are. May we move from that place tonight. And tonight we do not walk alone. I want to call in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. May his unwavering belief in love and justice infuse this space. May we find the courage to dream and to stand, to love even in the face of hate. I call in the spirit of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May her relentless pursuit of equality remind us that words, when wielded with wisdom and care, can shape the very fabric of this world. I call in the spirit of Anne Frank. May her light remind us of the power of hope in the darkest of times, of the enduring resilience of the human spirit. I call on the spirit of Thich Nhat Hanh. May his gentle wisdom guide us to listen deeply, to respond rather than to react, to embody peace even in the storm. I call on the spirit of John Lewis. May we take up the good trouble. May we not shy away from the work of change, knowing that justice is not passive, but active. I call on the spirit of Maya Angelou. May we use our voices with power and poetry, speaking truth in a way that moves hearts and souls. I call on the spirit of Nelson Mandela. May we remember that even after decades in the dark, freedom and forgiveness remain possible, that love, even after suffering, can still be chosen. And lastly, I call in all those unnamed, those whose voices were silenced, but whose love still reverberates in the bones of this earth. May we honor them not only with words, but with the way that we live. Ahoma Takwiyas, this space is now open. Ooh, that was a little emotional.
That was amazing.
I didn't think it would be that emotional.
Yes, I'm not sure I should be crying right now, but that was just so beautiful, Dakota. Thank you so, so very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is John Steen. I am in San Francisco, California. And a huge thank you to Violet 108 and Melanie Underwood for hosting this event and for answering my clarion call for change. And to the incredible teachers who have stepped up to be part of this panel, your presence, your voices, and your willingness to show up in love and action mean everything. This movement would not be what it is without you. And to the many other teachers who are contributing already in their own ways through live sessions, tracks, community engagement, and more. Your creativity and commitment are inspiring. This movement is already so much bigger than any one of us, and that's the beauty of it. And to this beautiful, inspiring, and life-changing community, you have no idea the impact you have had on me, and I am eternally grateful. I don't know about all of you, but there is an energy out there right now, like a feeling that society as a whole is waiting for something or someone to do something, waiting for a leader or a movement, a shift. But here's the truth. We save ourselves. We create the shift. And something is happening in the world right now. Something is trying to be born because something is dying. And what is dying is loud, angry, and desperate to hold on. But what is trying to be born, that energy is softer, quieter, but it is steady. So wherever you are in the world, we are all feeling the ripple effects of fear, division, and uncertainty. It may look different in your community, but the call to love remains the same. And I want to be part of what I hope is trying to be born on the other side of where we all find ourselves now. Because love is what holds the world together. Love is resilience. Love is resistance. Love belongs to all of us. After the US election, I spiraled into a bit of a depression. I found myself actually having a trauma response. Should I flee? Where would I go? How do I go? I even researched it. I decided to turn off the news completely, and I've always been a news junkie, but I realized that if love and fear cannot coexist, then I had to make a choice. And in that stillness, something began to shift for me. I had more time for creativity, for love, for healing. So I started creating new content for Insight Timer. And the first two tracks I created used the word authoritarianism. I wanted to push the envelope a bit, test the waters, and see what would happen. And you know what? They were approved, no questions asked. And that creative surge reminded me of something important. Fear is a weapon used to keep us paralyzed, but love and creativity are the antidotes. So what do we do when the world feels overwhelming? Do we turn away or do we step deeper into love? And so I started to channel all of that energy into something greater. In January, I decided to make a statement with my live sessions on Inauguration Day. I called it Awakening Love. And then something else started happening. People in our community here on Insight Timer, started bringing their fears into live sessions. But it wasn't just students. Teachers, too, were navigating real-world impacts in their own lives. I saw it in my own live sessions. I saw it in other teacher spaces as well. Some were facing direct threats to their safety. Others were grappling with deep emotional and spiritual challenges as they tried to hold space for their communities while also processing their own fears and grief. And it just wasn't words in a chat. It was real. Teachers like Dakota shared that she moved states because she feared she might need to flee across the border. And that actually shook me a bit. And teachers like Alejandro turned his real-time experiences of racism into powerful sessions on love and in his writing. I started asking myself, how do I hold space for this? How do I honor what's happening while also helping people move through it? And then it hit me. The answer was in the content that I had been creating. Everything I was writing, recording, and teaching was coming back to one thing: a commitment to love. And we all here are part of a global platform with over 30 million people. We have a unique opportunity to create something powerful together. And maybe you've been searching for a way to express what's happening in the world. And perhaps this invitation will give you the space to do so. Because this is bigger than any one of us. Because I believe this is a movement. And last month during Carol Lawrence's live, I asked a question that had been on my mind for some time. Is part of the soul's journey to deal with the constructs that society has built, especially for those of us in marginalized communities? I had been sitting with that question, trying to find clarity. And Carol responded with a beautiful explanation, affirming that yes, this is part of our soul's journey. So I sat with that answer. And then I let myself fully say yes. Yes, my soul chose to be here in this time of upheaval. Yes, my soul chose to witness and experience both hate and division and still choose love. Yes, my soul chose this lifetime in this moment in history. And once I embraced the truth, I asked myself, now what? And then during Myesha's live last week on the first day of her book reading series on All About Love by Bell Hooks, Siji had put in the chat that she had been having conversations with Spirit and Source about why she was alive during this time. And that resonated so deeply because I had been having the same conversations with myself. And I realized this is why we are all here at this time in history. We are the light workers. The world needs us right now in our fullness and love. And each of us will find our own meaning in this movement. For me, one of my core themes is justice, because I know what injustice feels like. When I was 21, I moved to San Francisco. It was 1988 at the height of the AIDS pandemic. And shortly after, I came out to my father. And his response, God hates you and you're going to die. I had to go no contact with him for years. And when we reconnected, our relationship was only on his terms. And the saddest part, the only thing that he ever told me about his father was that he hated him. And yet he still repeated the cycle. But I didn't. Through my own healing journey, I stopped the generational trauma. I chose something different. And this moment could have broken me, but it didn't, because I chose love over fear. Because I chose to break the cycle, because I chose to heal. And during that time, gay and bi men were dehumanized on a global scale in ways that are difficult for many to fully grasp. I would never wish for anyone to endure that kind of erasure, fear, and loss again. And a theme that often comes up in conversations with my friends is this: we weren't supposed to be here. We weren't expected to survive that time. And many people, society at large, didn't care whether we did or not. But we did. We survived. And not only survived, we thrived. Against all odds, we are still here. And that means something. So when I see the targeted hate being directed at the trans community right now and our community at large, as well as other marginalized communities, it feels deeply familiar. I've been through this before, and I don't want to see another generation experience what we did. And I share this not because I want to center myself, but because I know I am not alone in this experience. And if this resonates, take what serves you. This is my story, but I know many of you have faced your own versions of rejection, injustice, and healing. And this is why a commitment to love is for all of us. That time in my life defined me. It shaped who I was and who I was to become. Just like this moment in history will define each and every one of us. Who do you want to become in this moment? What do you want to stand for? How will you choose love? And for too long, many, in my opinion, in the spiritual and healing communities have avoided engaging with politics, dismissing it as separate from the spiritual path. But when our civil rights, the safety of marginalized communities, and the dignity of human beings are under attack, this is no longer just politics. These are spiritual issues. True spirituality is about liberation from fear, hate, and injustice. And if you are committed to healing, you are committed to justice. If you are committed to love, you are committed to change. The two cannot be separated. Is when I was starting out a few years ago on this path, one of the most impactful things I did as an energy healing practitioner was joining a coaching group with Lou Redmond. He's a fellow IT teacher. And one of his early guests, another fellow IT teacher, Darius Bashar, shared something that has stayed with me. Insight Timer hasn't reached its full potential yet. And I believe we are the ones who shape what Insight Timer becomes. This community of teachers and students is what makes this platform work. And that's why I'm so honored to be here on a panel with these incredible teachers in this beautiful community, launching a movement, a commitment to love movement. Because if you look back at recent history, every major movement, the civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, the United Farm Workers movement, the gay rights movement, Black Lives Matter, all of them were rooted in love. And during that time of reflection in December and in the months that followed, I experienced deep realizations. Because something had changed within me. Something was not quite the same. The truth is, I don't want to check out. When I began this chapter of my healing journey in 2020, I made a commitment to go within and uncover who I truly am. If I were to disappear now, I wouldn't just be stepping back. I'd be abandoning myself. So I'm saying no to that again. I matter. My voice matters, and my community needs me right now. As I sat with all of this, what I was witnessing in our community, what I was feeling in my own body, and the weight of what is happening in the world, I realized I couldn't stay silent. I didn't want to check out. I wanted to show up. But I also knew that I couldn't do this alone. That's when the idea for a commitment to love emerged, because I knew I wasn't the only one feeling this way. And if I was searching for a way to bring love into action, maybe others were too. I don't want history to repeat itself. I don't want my community to endure what we went through in the 80s and 90s. I don't want anyone to feel alone at this moment. More than ever, I feel called to stand up, not just for myself, but for every marginalized community, to be an ally and to remain unwavering in my commitment to anti-racism. This movement is not prescriptive. It's an invitation. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible work that you as teachers and healers, musicians, and guides are already doing. Each of you is showing up in powerful ways, holding space for your communities, guiding others through healing, and offering practices that uplift and transform. And this movement does not exist separately from that work. It honors it. A commitment to love is not asking you to take on something new, but to bring deeper intention to what you are already creating. Many of you are already leading with love. Many of you are already weaving justice, truth, and healing into your teachings. And this movement is simply an opportunity to unite those efforts, to amplify them, and to stand together in a shared commitment. Each of us will find our own themes, our own meaning. So I invite you all to sit with what a commitment to love means. Ask yourself, what does it mean to commit to love in uncertain times? How do we move through fear and into action? What are the unique ways each of us can embody love? What can this movement bring to communities and the world? And now bring it inward. What does this mean for me? What themes come up for me? What am I being called to create? Because this movement is yours to shape. There's no one way to be part of this movement. It's about showing up in the way that feels most aligned for you. I've decided to make my Friday lives about a commitment to love, where we'll awaken love every week. And when I brought this idea to Violet and Melanie, Melanie immediately had a brilliant idea for how we could bring this to life in new ways. And I'll let her share that. But it just goes to show that this movement is already sparking creativity and collaboration. That's what this is about. Co-creating with spirit, something powerful together. And here are some ways that you can contribute. Host a live session, whether it's a meditation, an energy healing, a sound healing, a movement practice, reflective talk, or a community discussion. Consider leading a session centered around love, healing, and truth. Perhaps start reading a series on books that are banned here in the United States. Yes, we have banned books. And whatever theme arises for you. Create insight timer tracks. This could be a guided meditation, affirmation track, spoken word reflection, or a musical piece or prayer to help others connect with love and action. Use your creative expression. Share your voice in the way that feels most natural to you through art, writing, music, poetry, spoken word, or storytelling. And engage your community. Invite your followers, students, and listeners to reflect on a commitment to love. Ask them, what does it mean to them? How do they bring love into action? Encourage them to journal and share their insights or create something meaningful in response. A Cherie Watchmaker, a fellow Inside Timer teacher, reached out to me that she'd bring this movement to her women's group. That's a fantastic idea, and I encourage you to bring it to groups you're involved with too. Engage others about it. And then amplify the movement. Use your platform, whether it's social media, newsletters, podcasts, or blog posts, to spread this message. Share quotes or insights and personal reflections on committing to love in these times. And join and support other teachers. Attend a commitment to love sessions that are already happening. Uplift fellow teachers. Amplify their work on IT and social media and create that ripple effect of support and encouragement. And most importantly, make this your own. This isn't about following a formula. It's about bringing love into action in a way that feels authentic to you. And most importantly, do use the hashtag a commitment to love to unify all our voices and build momentum, especially here in IT and maybe some of the content that you create. We have the opportunity as an incredible intersectional community here on Insight Timer to make a difference. The world is shifting. We get to decide whether we stay in fear or whether we actively create a new reality, one built on love, healing, and truth. That's what this movement is about. And this just isn't a moment. It's a collective awakening, a deeper commitment to each other, a refusal to let fear define our future. And every moment for justice, healing, and truth has started with love. This is our moment to carry that legacy forward. And also, as a reminder, I do invite you to pay attention to how you're feeling moving forward, how being part of this movement in a big way or a small way shifts something within you. It may open you in ways you didn't expect, reconnect with you parts of yourself that have longed to be seen and expressed. This is an opportunity to heal, to thrive, and to love. Be curious. Let this commitment take you to places within yourself that are waiting to be awakened. And yes, there will be disappointments. Yes, we all make mistakes. You may make mistakes along the way. That's okay. That's what life is. So if this resonates, I truly hope you'll join us. We are being called to rise in love together. This is a movement of love, truth, and healing, because love is not passive. Love is not silent. Love is a force for healing, justice, and transformation. We don't build a better world by looking away. So let's rise together. Let's stand in love together. Let's heal together. And in the end, love is always the way forward. So let's commit to love. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you all.
John,
So,
that was amazing. Amazing. I had chills the whole time. We're going to open it up to anybody who would like to add anything, say anything. The floor is open.
I'll say something. Welcome to the birthing pains. Before there's new life, there must be some sort of discomfort and pain. So as we step and continue to walk in love towards those who it's easy to do life with and those who it's not as easy to also do life with, do not get discouraged by the birthing pains. Do not get discouraged by the birthing pains. Those of us who are healers, guides, welcome to stepping into the midwife role, into helping others birth their destiny in the midst of chaos. So thank you, thank you, thank you for saying yes in such a time as this. Thank you for saying yes to the call. Thank you for saying yes to the identity of who you've always been created to be, which is love. Thank you for saying yes to the pain that it takes to birth a new reality. It's tough, but we're not alone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
James, I see your hand up.
Hey, I just have a few words, and I'm not big on words. That's why I write music, I guess. But let's start here. We're all here by no mistake. No mistake at all. I express myself best through my music, and I've been blessed with on this platform to have enjoyed success. Relative to this project and relative to this movement and relative to what needs to happen in this world right now, I can only ask of you all this seemingly simple thing, although I know it's not. Please don't let the power of your gift overwhelm you. Not in this time, not ever. I could only ask that you make it manifest. It will make a difference in this world. That's all I've got.
Thank you, James. I needed to hear that. John, since you shared it in your opening, I'll speak into it just a little bit. This last month has been a freaking whirlwind of emotions. And for those of you who are here that follow me and have been to my lives, you know that I haven't been around much in the last, well, since November. And when the election got called, my wife and I knew ahead of time that if Trump got in, that we would have to move. And because we're in a very red state. And we went from making that decision and trying to find a place to go and packing and moving and holidays, and I got COVID, and then I got the flu, and I just landed here. This is February 18th. I landed here about 3 weeks ago. I feel like I've been here a million years. I've found home, and I realized after coming here what a freaking oppression I'd been under. Forget the election, forget what's going on now. It's like there's been this undercurrent that I think many of us feel, not just in America, but all over the world, of the systemic separating of people like us. And I say that because spiritual people who are woke that against the darker forces, and it's bigger than us. And James, I hear what you're saying, because I feel like when I was in Ohio, I felt so squashed. And now that I'm here, an hour and a half from the Canadian border, and I feel safer and I'm in a blue state, I feel like my gifts I can use again and tap into them. So all of you who have been to my lives, I am inspired tonight to get on my calendar tomorrow and schedule more, and make that commitment to love, and make the commitment to myself to dig in deeper. But having a space to be able to speak this is really invaluable, especially in a spiritual community that likes to love it all to death and make it light polarized and go away. And it's not going to do that this time. It's going to take all of us to step into a lot of different roles, and not just spiritual roles, but boots on the ground, kind of like some of the advocates that I spoke about in my opening. And so I just appreciate everybody who's here tonight, teachers and those of you who are here listening, that when there's community that comes together like this, we're unstoppable. That's it. That's all I got.
Dakota,
One of the things, go ahead, Alejandro.
someone had asked in the comments if at some point you could share your prayer, your
Yeah.
initial prayer, especially for the names and the examples. But I'll say,
Yes.
since I was also mentioned in the intro, I've had the privilege of being a male, straight presenting human, in a very red state, 15 minutes from the border from Mexico. And I had not experienced racism or homophobia till a month ago. I knew about it and I knew the concept of it, but it was not till I was at the store where someone called me a wetback and told me to go back to my country, although I am from Puerto Rico, born and raised a citizen. It is in moments like these that anger arises, and there is a justified anger that may arise. But I'll say this, which I said in my life right after this happened: don't allow your justified anger to hold you back from your destiny and your purpose. How do we turn that anger into creativity and into magic? That is something that we explore, that it's something that looks very different and very personal for all of us. But let us not allow our justified anger to hold us back from destiny and purpose. So I wanted to share that also.
Go on, Melanie.
Well, I wanted to just mention about what John was talking about when he had emailed you and I, and our conversations around this and what we could do and where it would go. And, one of the things that I wrote in the chat was, I do feel like I'm clearly white. I haven't experienced anything in my life other than really embracing. And I live in New York, and that's part of the reason I live here, because people here accept me for who I am. And there's never like, oh, you're this or you're that. And there's not putting a person in a box. But when we were talking about this, I said it feels like it's not feeling like it's true, that there's the dismantling of big things and small things, observances, Black History Month, Women's History Month, Indigenous Peoples Day, Juneteenth, Pride Month, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and Martin Luther King Day. And I said to John and Violet, we need to have a commitment to love to make sure that these don't disappear, that these aren't dates on a calendar. Even before this, sometimes people forget that they aren't dates, that they're stories and their struggles and their celebrations of resilience that shape our collective humanity. And that I hoped that we could come together as a community to keep these things alive and ensure that this history does not disappear, not just in words, but in our actions. And that love in its deepest form is really about remembrance and respect and the courage to stand up for what matters. And Alejandro, you know, I'm all in on turning anger into something positive, and I think that's a really important thing to remember. So thank you for sharing that too.
Go ahead, Carol.
I still haven't been able to find that button that
Don't
has
worry, you can just talk.
yeah, thank you for inviting me. And John, this is tremendous. I am so excited to be a part of it. When I first got the email, I thought, I don't know what to do. You know, I don't know what to do because I just do what I do. And I felt like I was being asked to do something different and something special. And so I sat with Spirit like all of you do. And I said, you know, what am I supposed to do here? What is mine to do? And I wasn't getting an answer. So I confess I'm not probably, you know, as mature as some people. I get a little stomp my feet and say, I need an answer because I gotta plan my lives and I need to know the direction that I'm going. And I got a couple of words. The first one was opportunity. And opportunity has always been a part of my prayer. I have no idea when I was really young. I always felt like I'm not worried about the money. Just give me an opportunity and I'll make it work. Because so many things, because of, you know, obviously I'm one or the other. And you're excluded from so many things that you feel qualified for. And so my prayer was always just give me an opportunity, give me a shot. And every time I asked, I got it. And it always worked. And sometimes the opportunity didn't look like what I thought it would look like, but it was bigger and better. Hence, Insight Timer is bigger and better than what I had asked for. And so I know what to expect in the future, bigger and better. So I wanted to know what is mine to do. And because I got nothing, I assumed that what I do all the time is what I'm to do. And when you asked, John, when you asked in my live if this is what we came here to do, I couldn't say anything but yes, this is what we came here to do. I heard the same ads and rhetoric that you heard, you know, for the last several years, and didn't believe it was possible that this person could sit in the Oval Office again. I just didn't think so. But the closer we got to it, it became a reality. It was like I looked at television one day and said, this guy is going to get in here. And part of me was saying it's impossible, but I felt like the world is asleep, if I could say it that way. Maybe just the United States. I won't talk about the world. I'll just talk about the United States. In so many ways, it felt like the United States was asleep. And my first thought was when the tally came in and the votes were counted, how did this happen? How could this happen? Because I've seen this before in different ways. A lot of us have seen this before. So the fact that it happened again, number one, history repeats. And then we can look at history and see the track that it took. So I felt like I haven't had a chance to be, I was upset for about a nanosecond, But that's about it, because I said, you've been here, you know how to get through this. You know it's about your mindset in getting through this. And what is it that you teach? I don't know anything else to teach. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I talk to and communicate with spirit just like you do. And sometimes on a maybe more personal level, I would say. And the message is the same. The outer reflects the inner. Now, this doesn't feel good, but it is good when I say this. The outer, what we're seeing on the outside, I looked at that and said, what of this that I'm seeing is me? And it made me go through a huge examination of myself. There's anger about whatever it is. There's envy, whatever it is. I went through a whole list of it. And I thought, that's the first thing you do. Look inside, because we have a power inside of us that is second to none. There are some in the faith tradition that I came from that talk about a devil. And I never believed in that. I never did. Because what happens, it's us. Either I want to really be careful because I'm not blaming. What I'm saying is that we have a power that allows us to transcend the fear that we might be feeling in the moment. God is not asleep, not unaware, and doesn't lack the power. And it's not like God didn't see this coming. And what's more amazing to me is that God prepared each one of us with the power of love and our wisdom that we have, that we don't think that we have, but that we do. We have everything we need to address this issue. Some of us will be, we're called to help others not to be afraid of what's going on, or to call others to understand our power in this. There's this illusion of separation, and I've talked about that in my lives this week, and those things have really come to life. We're not separate. So if we're not separate, then what is this that we're seeing here? And nobody can understand that better than, and I'm just going to talk about the teachers. I know there are people that are watching the live, but there's nobody better that can understand what's going on and how to address it than you and I. Because we are spiritual, let me use the term spiritual giants. We've reached a level of spirituality that allows us to see a bigger picture. And we know we know the power behind that. We know the power that we call on just to do our work. And so the answer that I got from Spirit when I said, what is mine to do? You're doing, you know what you do. You teach and you heal through your teaching. You be compassionate, you listen. And I shared in one live that my first thought when this happened was, what's going to happen to the LGBT community? I felt such a sense of concern for that community. And I told stories in my lives about why that happened, and it's no big deal. It's just that I've seen that group, that community hurt all of my life. And I could never understand what the reason was for that. Somebody asked me how I felt about it. I have feelings, but listen, I've been Black all my life. So all of this that's going on, I felt it before. I've been female all my life. So I felt that when the women's movement came. And in my church, I was a pastor for 30 years, and I would sit and listen to pastors talk about how it was wrong, the feminist movement was wrong, and the womanist movement was wrong, and they were men. How did they know what it was? How did they know what we were feeling? We knew that. I've been here before, and I understand the hatred that comes from other people, but it doesn't go anywhere. There's collateral damage. There is, and that's what happens. And I don't say that lightly. This collective and what we're doing, creating the ripple effect, it's going to diminish the possibility of the enormity of collateral damage. But each and every one of us know what's going on. And we know how to get through this. We do. We have our lives to do, yes. The illusion of separateness, maybe we just need to pay attention a little bit more to what we teach every single day in our own way. Whose heart is hurting here? Yeah, there are a lot of people hurting, but when I was really small, and I'll make this quick, I spent a lot of time being alone because I was the only child for so long. And so I had to, entertain myself. And in school, we learned about the planets. But in those days, you didn't get what you get now. It was the planets in our little solar system. And so I knew that those planets, and I thought I was really brilliant because I knew the 9 planets, and the closest one was Mars. And I used to imagine going to Mars and looking back at Earth, getting a perspective of what's going on. I have no idea where I got that little silly idea, but I did that, and it felt like I was doing that my whole life. And sometimes now my husband will even say, just go up to Mars and see what's going on. And I laugh, and I'm really tickled. I'm so happy that you're thinking this is funny too, because I went to Mars. I actually went to Mars to see. And I thought, okay, from Mars, this looks like not a big deal. Please don't think I'm just diminishing what's going on. I'm not. But I looked at it from Mars, and I saw it being small with so much energy around just keeping it small until it was no more. And that energy is generated by you and I, because we're the grown-ups in this. I don't know how else to say it. We are the grown-ups. People evolve in their own time. They're awakened at their own time, and we're reaching for this high level of spirituality, this level of Christ consciousness. We're reaching for it. Everybody gets there at a different time, but a lot of us are there, and we get there and we can't stay. We'll get there and we'll trip and something will happen and we'll fall down a couple of steps, if you could use that imagery, but we shake ourselves and we get up and we keep on going. This is nothing but a place that we can look at from our level of Christ consciousness, and from there we know what to do. If we rely on our feelings and our memories of what have happened, because I know some of you, and I know the tragedy that some of you have felt in your life. And some of you have shared some things with me and didn't tell me specifics, but I don't need specifics. I know what hurt feels like, and I know how I can feel other people's pain, and maybe can even tell you your story. That's where I am. But you survived it. And we survive, we come through it better. We come through it stronger, we come through it wiser. And so now it's our turn to channel, to center our energy with the power that we know that we have together, because others can't do it. They don't know. There are others that are afraid. And I asked, what are we afraid of? Well, there are people that are afraid of losing power. They're afraid of losing their wealth. They're afraid of losing this. They're afraid of, you know what? I heard I'm sorry, rise for opening prayer. I'm sorry, I don't see your name there, but you said you moved and you moved to another place. That's what happened for you. And it feels like this is our opportunity. If your back is against the wall, you're going to come out swinging to save yourself. That's just simple self-preservation. You do it somehow. You find the strength, you find the wisdom, you find what you need. Now there are others that need us to do that for them. But it starts with us. I didn't have my tears. I thought I would, but I couldn't find any. Was I angry? Not really, because I thought, have I been asleep like other people were asleep, like the precious Dems? What were you guys doing? Were you asleep? Okay, we're in the battlefield now, so to speak. Why it happened doesn't matter. We know the way out of this. We do. Whether it's lives or all the things that John talked about, yeah, but it really starts with what we believe is possible inside of us. And you cannot make me believe, because of what I've been through in my own life, not just one thing, not just two things, but, in my own life, and you as well. And I can't sometimes believe that I'm here in my right mind, in a way that I have enough courage to hit the button that says start your live. I do lives regularly. Some people say it looks like it's easy. Well, no, it's not as difficult as it was, but you don't know what it took for me to push that button, right? Even the first time the camera wasn't working, I thought I was going to pass out. but the group, people were saying it's okay, don't worry, we're waiting for you, we're waiting for you. So we're the leaders in this. We've been through the storm before. We know how this works. We know how I don't want to use negative terms, so please help me and excuse me if I do, but we know how the opposition thinks. We know what their fears are. So we have everything we need to transcend this. And the first thing for us to do is to be able to feel our own power, to feel the confidence that we can do this. We know what's happening. The United States, I was personally offended, and I'm almost done. I was personally offended by the
I'm glad to hear that, because I
disrespect.
think some people are waiting to talk.
I was personally offended by the disrespect to the Constitution. Because when I was little, I had to put my hand on my heart, say the pledge, know the Constitution, and all of a sudden it's being ripped apart. Our power is greater. There's nothing behind the scenes. It's all clear to us. We know how to do this, but it starts inside with believing we can and pulling on everything that we believe and focusing that power. What is it that energy goes, where our power, our focus is, that's where our energy goes. It's the God power that we need to focus. So let me just stop right there and let somebody else talk.
Thank you. That was beautiful. James, were you waiting to speak again? I saw your hand.
Yeah, just
Oh, go
just a
ahead.
quick thing. Carol, thank you for sharing that. It's interesting to me, some of the things you said, particularly about the being asleep part, and I can't disagree with you there. Coincidentally, one of the things which I started to understand from way back in the very beginning on this platform was the people that were coming to listen to my music, why did they come to me? Because they couldn't sleep. So there's there's this kind of disconnect there, and it's kind of unfortunate. And I think it's something that helped me validate a direction for myself. And what I guess really like to offer everyone as maybe a prescription for success in terms of who you are and what you bring to the party in this effort is if you can close your eyes and imagine as in a Venn diagram, two circles intersecting. And on the left, what breaks your heart most about this world? On the right, what are your unique talents, skills, and gifts? And in the center, where are you now being called then into service? And that's helped me really kind of crystallize my direction. And I hope maybe that can be of some support to others as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Carol
Na-
touched on something
Na-
so important. Oh, sorry,
Yes.
I'll be
No,
really
no, no,
brief.
no. Take your time. I just was going to say, Natalie, I saw your hand up. So go ahead, Melanie, go ahead.
And just about, having the confidence to move forward and trusting yourself enough to just keep going, because that's really important. And also, I want to say this, and I know I said it to John, and we all have different opinions, and part of love is also loving people that don't agree with us and trying to have that understanding and compassion. Finish.
Right. Natalie could not raise her hand, so I'm going to let her speak, and then we'll move to the hands that I see that are up.
Sorry, I didn't know how to raise my hand.
No, that's okay. I keep an eye on that because I know not everyone can find that little hand. So don't worry. I make sure you're not being missed.
Thank you, Violet. Hello, everyone from Sydney, from Australia, and hello from someone who's lived in Australia but is French-born, has lived in a couple of places in Europe. And I wanted to say, looking from the outside to what's happened in the US, that you are doing great. It might not feel like it, but I believe you are at the forefront of healing divisive energies, and just going through the tough times and trying to do the very best that you can without lashing out at other people. And those of us who are obviously able to understand energies, I'm hoping that you'll choose to see the transformative power of what's unfolding rather than being, go and get depressed. And for someone who is not only feels very deeply as an empath, but has been accused all of my life of being just too optimistic, of always seeing the positive side, I'm choosing to see the positive side. And it's unbelievable that when that's your choice, there's a lot of messages that comes to you from spirit and other people that reinforce that. And for me, I'm receiving a lot of messages from the astrology. So someone, Chantel, in the chat mentioned that we are in Pluto in Aquarius, and there's so many, the energy has changed so much. We've left the age of Pisces to go in the age of the Aquarius, which is all obviously about power to the people, and people joining forces, and people embracing their own unique gifts, and by joining forces, finding that others complement their gifts and just becoming that much more powerful. So for me, and one of my favorite astrologer, to finish my little snippet on astrology, is saying that what we are witnessing at the moment is the breakdown to get to the breakthrough, which is always, sustained me and supported me when, I'm going. I'm obviously yes, I'm a woman. I've been a woman in this lifetime, but I'm white. I'm coming from very wealthy countries. I've never encountered any problems. The only thing that I can say that I've always felt very deeply, I'm a huge nature lover and animal lover, and I feel very strongly the pain of Mother Earth and nature and the animals and what we've been doing. So that's been to me what what has always been difficult going through my life. I've made lots of notes what Carol and James were talking as well, so I'm just quickly looking. And for me, what love means is and I was glad, John, that you were talking about truth, is I'm increasingly seeing that there's many different versions of truth, that every single one of us has their own truth. And what I think going forward, to me, unity and love is really being able to see the truth of someone else and to be able to find a common truth and to be able to share what is important to all of us. And I think what is important to all of us, as you were saying, John, is love, is to feel love, to be loved by others, to recognize love in others, and to be compassionate. And something else that also I've come across and has really resonated with me is whenever you encounter something that is difficult at a core level, is to ask yourself the question, what would love do in this particular situation? What is the best way to react rather than lash out of fear or anger or frustration? How can I, and it doesn't mean that we are going to become saintly necessarily, because we are human and that's what it's all about, is to have the ups and downs. But by taking a deep breath and asking ourselves this question, then I think we'll have better reactions. So thank you so much for having me. And yes, just everything is going to unfold in the way that it's meant to. So just keep your spirit up. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much, Violet.
Thank you for being here. That was so beautifully said. I'm going to let Melanie be the moderator again, because I know everyone's waiting to talk and I cannot keep up. So Melanie, I'm going to let you call out.
Okay. Thank you, Violet. A couple teachers had to step off, so I know that they, send their love.
And I want to
I see
repeat
your
again.
hands.
I'm sorry, just one real quick. I want to repeat again to the people who have been asking. The replay will be in my teacher's link in my profile, and all of the teachers' names will be there. All of their links will be there. I know that someone was asking if we could type it in the chat. Unfortunately, I can't because I'm limited to 150 characters. So I'd have to be cutting and pasting. And this is really taxing on my system. So if I start typing and switching screens, there's a good chance I'll crash everything. And the last thing I want to do is stop this in the middle. So just so you know, the replay will be in my profile. All the teachers' names, all of their links will be there. Thank you.
Thanks, Violet. Siji.
I think Stephanie was before me. Or
I'll get her. Don't worry. I always get to everybody.
okay.
I usually
All
say
right.
that before we come live. Don't worry, but I'll get to her.
All right. Well, hi everyone. I'm Siji. And first of all, thank you, John and Violet and everyone for being here. So I like to at least consider myself a spiritual teacher. I think I've always had this connection to God. Many of you who've been on some of my lives, you've heard me talk about like my near-death experience at age 8. And in that moment of dying, I had this very profound experience. And I think that was the moment that I had, I guess, awakened, quote unquote. And it was like so young and not being able to express the things that I was experiencing because it just wasn't talked about, right? And I grew up Christian. I grew up Baptist, Southern Baptist, so I can't really articulate as a child what I am experiencing on a spiritual level. So I came to this platform like once, and then I did nothing with it. I was gifted an account here and I did nothing with it. And then I came back and I started just going to the lives, well, using the meditations. And then I realized there were lives. I started going there. And then all of a sudden, I just randomly became a teacher on Insight Timer with no idea what I was going to share. And so that's how I came here. And the first live I did was my near-death experience, in which I didn't tell anyone about that in over 30 years, which was very surprising for me to just blurt that out. But I needed that expression. I've also learned while being here on this platform that expression had been my blockage, or I had a blockage of expression, right? And so that's kind of how I came to be here as a teacher here on Insight Timer. And I've been trying to find my feet this whole time. So I've been, trying to just figure things out. I've come and gone, come and gone. Here in the last month or so, I've been away just because I've been busy and I had to just kind of deal with all the energy that everybody else is dealing with, right? And then kind of like we left the end of the year and came into this year under some weird Mars retrograde energy. So that was not nice. And so I'm back and I think I literally just gave a live for the first time a few days ago. And it just so happens that Violet sent the email out, and I'm usually one for putting the train before the track. And I was like, of course. And I did not know, like most of the teachers on here knew what I would be sharing until I went to sleep. And that was like literally that same night that I said, yes, I went to sleep and God talks to me in stillness, right? And I think you guys have heard me talk about how I get the best ideas when I'm still, the best visions, the best dreams, all of that. And so sometime like in September or whatever, I think it was like last September, I had this dream about a medicine woman. I'll tell you guys all about it in the live on Friday. But anyway, I had this dream about a medicine woman, and these women in this dream, there were women in this dream, and they were all experience or look as if they had went through hell and back again, right? And so all of a sudden I encountered this medicine woman. Somehow I know she's a medicine woman. And I didn't know what to take away from that dream until I went to a live in Myesha with Myesha, and she was doing like a meditation. And all of a sudden I'm in this meditation and I'm presented with medicine woman again, right? And so again, I'll tell you guys all about medicine woman. So let's fast forward again. When Violet reached out to me and I was like, oh yeah, of course I want to be a part of a commitment to love, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I just said yes. And so I went to sleep that same night and I had a dream, and lo and behold, medicine woman shows up and I get all of the downloads. I get all of the information. I know exactly what I'm meant to do for this commitment. And so how I'll be presenting in this commitment is through Medicine Woman, and I'll be hopefully sharing all the wisdom that I get with you all in the live sessions that I put on. I've kind of named them Medicine for Women. And the reason is because when I had the dream, it was women in the dream. Right now, I feel, and people may not agree with me, but I do feel like there is a bit of a war on women. I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman, I'm a mother, right? And I'm also pro-choice as a mother. And so I just feel so passionate about safeguarding womanhood, right? And so the fact that I was presented with Medicine Woman and all of these women, and at this time, I just thought that that would be the thing I would share. It would be a space for women of haven to come, to share, to heal, to learn, to grow, to love, to learn how to love. Men are welcome, right? Because I think men need to know how to love women in all kinds of ways, not just if you have a partner, if you have a sister, if you have a mother, right? If you understand how to love women, I think the war that we are experiencing and that women in general are experiencing could not be a war anymore. So that's what I'll be sharing. I'll be sharing Medicine for Women. I do have the first session coming out Friday, which is the one where we're going to talk about how to love women, right? And then probably going forward, these will be done on Sunday, and I'll share more on Friday. I don't want to take up too much time here, so thank you all very much.
Thank you. I wanted to say thank you for accepting. And I love that you are like me. You know, someone asked me to do something and I say yes. And then I'm like, okay, how do I do this? So I love that you did that. Thank you.
Siji, Stephanie, and then Myesha and Weston.
Thank you to everybody I see on screen. Thank you to all those who gathered. We are at almost 300 people. And I have never seen so many hearts. I've got chills all over my body. I have never seen so many hearts in a live before. John, Melanie, Violet, I love you and I thank you for doing this. Obviously, it's kind of, you can tell, I'm a white woman, a cis woman, have been my whole life. I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. And A Course in Miracles is, there is love and there is fear. And I would love to say, oh, I'm the teacher that has all my shit together and I'm not feeling any fear, but I am. Because yeah, I'm a white cis woman with both of my kids who are gay. So I am afraid. I am incredibly afraid. And yet I'm not willing to let it take me down. And so for me, I have to keep coming back to love. And many of the teachers that are here tonight, many more who are not, have no idea how I find my strength in this app. That how wonderful that we have this opportunity through Insight Timer to have, we're over 300 people now. Over 300 people from around the globe coming together for love. And yet, I think it was Carol who said about being asleep. And I spent a lot of my life asleep. And now that I have woken up, I guess now I can say I woke. Now that I've woken up, I've also understood that many of us who are gathered here are like sponges for the energy. We can't help but soak up some of this energy around us that we really don't want. So I had already scheduled my live for last week when I got the email about this. And I was like, well, how perfect is that? Because I was focusing on self-love on Sunday. And that's the one thing, if there's only one thing that I can impart to you tonight, it's you have to start with self-love, right? It is so crucial that, you know, they say on the airplanes, put the oxygen mask on first. So I forget who it was that mentioned haven, being a safe haven. If you would, join me, and if you're not looking at the screen, just take your right hand to your left shoulder, your left hand to your right shoulder, and go down from your shoulders, slowly down your arms to your wrists, and then through your hands, and then flick that energy off. And keep coming to this. This is literally called havening, and it is a way of transforming the energy. And if you think about it, it's like getting a hug. And your body, your brain doesn't know the difference. When we do this, it's like we're getting a hug, and it's getting our bodies to produce dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, which is the cuddling hormone. So we have to start with ourselves. And this, full transparency, I do vacillate between feeling full of love, and thankfully I can come here day or night and plug in and find somebody, whether they're live or through a meditation. We have this great resource here. And I am afraid. I am afraid on so many levels, not the least of which for both of my children. And so please, the one thing I want you to really take away from me tonight is self-love. And you can always reach out to me and I will touch you with that love, that little reminder for self-love, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't be there for everyone else. Thank you, thank you, thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you, Stephanie. And let's all send your husband a little bit of love because he had surgery recently. Yeah. Myesha.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Myesha. I'm so grateful to be here. It's been such a beautiful space, so powerful. And I wanted to come back to this question that Ms. Carol brought up in her talk just now around what is mine to do, because I feel like this is, for me, what a lot of people are rubbing up against at this time and what people are really struggling to figure out. And in all of the various communities and that I'm a part of and all of the various people that I work with, this is where people are finding the most challenge of figuring out what is mine to do. And one of the reasons why I got the guidance to bring bell hooks into this space, into Insight Timer in particular, is for many reasons, but I'll just name a few. So for those of you who don't know, I'm reading Bell Hooks All About Love. And one of the reasons why I chose to bring her into this space on Insight Timer is, one, because she's a bodhisattva, someone who is committed to the spiritual growth and evolution of other people and supporting of being of service to that evolution. Number two, she advocated and she was known for being a voice of dissent, right? So you talk about combining Buddhism with an activism of using your voice to say the unpopular thing, for naming a thing, even when it's scary, even when she was threatened, even when nobody wanted to hear it, and when it makes us deeply uncomfortable. And so I've been reading this book in spaces, and people have been literally talking about the discomfort they're feeling as they're being exposed to her expansive view about love, not just this idea that the aspect of love that involves care, and not just this idea of a romanticized love, but an active love ethic, right? And so she left us a blueprint in this book. And this is why I really wanted to bring this into the space, because our ancestors left us blueprints. And so Adrienne Marie Brown talks about at this time now, like she says, we're not starting from scratch. We're starting from us. We're starting from us. And so when Ms. Carol said we have everything we need, we absolutely do. And if we forget, we have reminders everywhere. All we have to do is look back. All we have to do is look to the side, look at our comrades, right? I love this idea of an ally, but me, I love a comrade, somebody who's going to be in it with me, right? That's the activity, that's the action part of it. And so for me, my commitment to love on Insight Timer looks like bringing this into the space, right? Reminding us of the blueprints that are already here for us, reminding us that we already have what it is that we need. And then the last thing I want to say is that just, you know, for this book, All About Love by Bell Hooks, she talks about a new vision of love and what it means. And I think one of the things that she was most drawn to about Buddhism and why I myself have walked a Buddhist path is because of this idea of a daily practice, right? And so when we talk about a commitment to love, like, what does that really mean? What does that look like, as Bell Hooks says, in the dailiness of my life? So a love ethic means a commitment to love means what I say that I believe in, what am I doing in service to that belief? What am I doing to realize that in the dailiness of my life? And for each of us, that will look different, right? And it doesn't have to be grand gestures of things. For me, that looks like supporting people to remind them of the safety and the home that exists within our bodies, right? That we have a home within this earth, and that we can remember that by anchoring into our bodies. That is my work here to do. That is what's mine to do here at this time. And so I am dedicated to ensuring that people feel at home within their bodies, because the outside world is always changing. We can't attach so much to physical things. They're always changing, they're always shifting, they're always dissolving. And so being at home in our bodies is more important than ever. And so that is my love offering to the collective and to individuals at this time. And so I just want to say thank you to all of the beautiful teachers here and everyone in the space. And I'll pass my time.
Thank you, Myesha. Weston.
Wow. I mean, Melanie and Violet, you guys know me, and I may not be able to keep it together for this, but I'm going to try. First, I just want to start with gratitude. And I'm so thankful to God for my life and for all of the blessings and opportunities that I've had to learn and to be shown the truth of who I am in this world. And I'm so grateful to Dakota for the invocation. I mean, that was incredible. Thank you for that. And to John for the invitation. It's so beautiful and important and inspiring and compelling. And it's an honor to be in this group today. Violet and Melanie, thank you so much for the invitation to participate. And as I look around at the faces that are on the screen and the teachers that had to leave, and to the 320 people or whoever on the live right now, all I see are beautiful mirrors, and this past year, I've had the opportunity to come to know what it means to have cancer in my body and to walk through the arduous treatment path of chemotherapy and radiation, and to still have it in me now. And during that journey, I asked myself over and over again, what's being asked of me through this experience and through this journey? And the answer that's come back very quietly from Spirit is, number one, to recognize that there is no separation between myself and God, that my divinity and my humanity is inseparable. And because of that, what's being asked of me is to show up in the different communities that I'm a part of, whether it's on Insight Timer or the medicine circles that I lead, the men's groups that I'm a part of and lead, the clients I work with individually, and just remind people that, love is all we need is not just a silly song that was written, right? Like it's a beautiful truth that has been available to all of us for as long as we've been here and even before, right? And it will be here after we're all gone in perpetuity, that this is a force and a power that if we allow ourselves to connect with it deeply, I believe has that, like that is the power that it takes to change the world, And so, so I just wanted to say just briefly, John, again, thank you for the invitation and my commitment here, both as a teacher on Insight Timer and in these other communities that I walk in and the people that I walk with, that, my commitment is to show up with my heart open, with compassion and non-judgment and curiosity, all of these things that for one reason or another, were just kind of like conditioned out of me for a long time in my life, you know, and I'm so grateful again for the opportunity to have this moment to go really within to, you know, not only heal my own body, but to heal my heart, to be open about that with anybody who'll listen. And yeah, I'm just filled with so much gratitude, and I'm committed to, you know, walking in this world as a beacon of love and acceptance. And so thank you. I'll just sort of land the plane there, but I appreciate again the time and the opportunity to be here with all of you and everybody that's on the live tonight. Thank you.
I just want to throw in there that I'm very happy that you're here, and I was so grateful when you said yes.
Yeah. And Weston, you know I love you. Weston and I have had a similar path, and I just, before I even knew you had cancer, I felt the love between us. So I'm really grateful for you.
Yeah, Melanie was the one who introduced you to me, actually. She was the one who told me about you.
Yeah. Thank you, baby. Mm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Nicole.
Good evening, good now to everyone. First of all, thank you. I am just in awe and in so much gratitude for every one of you here this evening. I'm looking at the hearts. I don't think the hearts have stopped since we've started. I love each and everything that everyone has shared this evening. Y'all have taken the words out of my mouth. I really didn't. I'm like, I don't even have anything to say anymore. They already spoke for me. Thank you. What did come to mind is in listening to Myesha, the one thing that I really want to just reiterate is that being safe in your body, being safe and know that we are all connected for real. That is not going to change. And we all together have the power to make change in a positive direction with the way we are being, by being who we are, not by showing up in a way that we think people want us to show up, because that's not what we need anymore. We need you to be who you are in the deepest sense of the word. And if it feels scary to step into that power, I just want to assure you that we all have your back. Because what has come to me recently is that I'm going to ruffle feathers. In the past, I would not ruffle feathers. And standing firm, and especially in something as strong as love, as powerful as love, is going to ruffle some freaking feathers. And I'm just going to ask you to be committed deeply to that and know that it's always when love wins. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's so powerful, which is why people want to keep you scared, because it's kind of hard to step into that power when you're scared. So that's kind of what's come to mind for me to share with you, and just to remind you that, like I've seen in the chat, love is not just words. It is actions. It is a commitment, and first and foremost, a commitment to yourself. That is where it has to start. If you are angry, if there's something you don't like about yourself, let that shit go, because it's not serving you, and it prevents you from serving others. So look inside and know that you are this innocent, beautiful being, and step into that power wherever you're being called to step into it. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm holding your hands as we're walking through this together. So that's just what came to mind. I wasn't sure what I was going to say because everybody said so much. I was like, yes, 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 yes. So I just hope that resonates, and let's do this.
Definitely resonates. I just have to jump in there because Nicole is a new teacher here. She's probably the newest teacher we have right now. And I happened on like her first live, or I met you in chat before you went on your first live. and I was completely captivated by you. And like we have become instant friends. It's incredible. I was so happy that you took me up on the offer and that you showed up. And I want to add that she normally goes to bed at 8:30. And I said to her, you show up for as long as you need to, because I know you have to get up early. Thank you so much for being here. Like I'm grateful to everyone, but I just wanted to throw that in there because I'm so appreciative of you.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. Kevin.
Melanie.
I told you, Kevin, you were going to talk.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Wow. Wow, wow. This is just so incredibly, overwhelmingly beautiful. Just every single expression, everyone, and just all the participants, all 336 now and counting, just amazing. I would like to be brief, but I would like to just really appreciate, first of all, the wonderful Violet, the wonderful Melanie, always, as always, for what you've created, something that is so unique and so beautiful here. I'd also really, really like to appreciate John. John, you are an incredible orator. Just the way you spoke and how you spoke was just, it was quintessential authenticity, the way you spoke, and so with such elegance and absolutely astoundingly beautiful. So thank you, John. Thank you for the incredible initiative that you have brought forth in this commitment to love. I think that there's two ways of, when I think of it immediately, when I heard the commitment to love the first time, I thought it's a commitment to love as love, but it's also a commitment to love, to actually be engaged in that love and to bring that forth in all possible ways. And as I often say in my own live events, that love has so many different ways of being understood and expressed, but one that I find really carries something very special is that it is a power, a force that unites. It is a power that is that a reflection and a recognition and a support and an enhancement of that connection that we all share, that we all have. And so I just am so happy to be part of that wonderful journey of life that we're all in with love. And I'm just so grateful to be here today. And I encourage everyone here who's watching, who's part of this, to just become aware of all the different teachers here, the incredible teachers through their profiles, and participate, and to just be, in fact, that love. So thank you, everyone, so very much.
Thank you, Kevin. Don.
I had to unmute myself. I think I did, yes. Yeah. See some old friends. Great to see Violet and Melanie as always. My friend Alejandro. Yeah, thank you.
Don,
Thank
I
you.
just want to throw in there that you were the first person I ever did OBS for. We've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
That was about a year and a half ago, I think.
I think so. I was in Sri Lanka, I think, doing a
Yes.
Gandhi tour in Sri Lanka. And
Yes. And I had just learned OBS. I barely knew how to use it.
Yeah, I tried installing it on my laptop and it wiped out my Zoom capability, so I had to take it off. But I get it. It's challenging. I came an hour late. I had clients today, and so I missed the first hour. So my apologies, folks, for that. But I read your letter, John, about your invitation about commitment to love, and I really love the spirit of what you're pulling us all together to do and to stand up for. I certainly think it's a very, very easy time to get so scared that we become despairing. And I think for me, the solution to that is community, to be with people who are caring and loving and courageous and taking stands on, in many ways, the opposite of what we're seeing around our country in the US and also around the world. And there was a wonderful itinerant reverend named Thomas Dowd who passed away 2 years ago. But he said something in a talk I heard him give in Flint, Michigan, the birthplace, Myesha, of bell hooks. um, he said that with the coming storm, we need to find ways to be calm centers. And for me, that's what my commitment to love is about being a calm center and to helping other folks realize how incredibly powerful they are, and we all are together, that we can do so much good in the world despite all this dangerous stuff that's happening. And that goodness that resides in us and wants to be expressed is a wonderful aspect of being human beings. And my commitment as a therapist and as a spiritual coach, as a teacher here, I've been a teacher here for 4 years on Insight Timer. I do a live event every week, and my commitment is to help people to see that that divinity exists within them and to express that and to have that expression come from me as well. So that's my commitment, to be that calm center in the storm and to remind people of just incredibly wonderful and how incredibly powerful they are. So thank you for this format, and I'll look forward to all the new steps that are going to be coming out of this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. I want to point out something that Rebecca said in the chat, because I say this to Violet. She said, love regardless. Those that make it hard typically need it the most.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I always think if someone's being mean outside, imagine how much meaner they are on the inside to themselves.
Yes.
That's why I'm able to be more compassionate and patient and empathetic with people, because I'm like, I can't even, if you're saying that out loud, I can't even imagine how you're torturing yourself inside. So
yeah, right on, for sure. Thank you, Violet. Thank you, Melanie, and big thanks to you, John.
I know James is off camera, but I also want to say that it's James's wife's birthday today. So happy birthday to Constance.
And I wanted to say that it was John's mom. It is John's mom's birthday today as well.
Yes, it's as some of you know, my mom passed away 8 months ago, so her birthday is today. I guess it's not by accident that this is happening, and that I know within a year of my mom passing, Dakota's mom also passed, and it does something to you, something that I never expected to do or to feel, and just working through all that. And I know my mom is pushing me through with all of this, because she hated what was happening. So something is working through me, and it's been working through me for these past 8 months. So I don't want to say too much more because I'll burst into tears.
That's all right. I'll cry with you.
Bring on the tears.
And we have Alejandro. That's right.
yeah,
Hey, bro.
And there we go. See, we're ready.
yeah, you got you.
Yeah, maybe it's okay to cry.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've been crying for 1.5 years or 2 years now. It's a hard loss.
Yeah.
Talk about commitment to love. It's like it goes beyond the grave, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I will share, if I have time, I just want to share this really quickly.
Take as much time as you need.
It's in this whole upheaval that we've all been going through. I feel a lot of the time I've been wanting to just check out, oh my God, just check out whatever. And last night, and Wendy, I don't know if you're still on here. Wendy's at the airport right now in Baltimore, and she was on the live here, and I haven't told her the story yet. So don't get mad at me for not telling you first. But this whole time, it feels like there's so much going on in the world. It's hard to actually take time to really, truly grieve. And, you know, my mom died 2 years ago, and her anniversary of her death is next Tuesday. And last night I was on the couch and I was watching really bad TV. And I did share this story earlier in my class, and I heard something that caught me. And I turned the TV off for a second. I'm listening, and I hear my wind chimes out on my porch. And now I'm living in Maine. I didn't realize how windy and snowy it is here in Maine. Oh my God, we have so much snow. And I hear the chimes every day, all day long. And last night something was different. And I just sat there and I listened. And all of a sudden I felt like this whole energy of my mom coming through. And she was flying through the woods. And we have 3 acres here, and it's mostly forest. And she's flying through the woods and she's having fun. And she's like, "Oh my God, Dakota, this is so much fun. I'm so glad to be on this side." And then she started wrapping this white ribbon around the perimeter of our property. And then as she did, it's like made this beautiful web and cocoon. And then it's turned into this beautiful translucent coloring. Now, mind you, I'm just on the couch with 2 dogs with the TV paused, and I'm having this whole thing happening in my whole energy. And I don't know how long it took for me to have this vision, but I was going in and out of this trance. And then I came out of it, and it was like 2 hours later. And I'm lying there, I'm like, oh my God, this is the first time in 2 years that I've actually had the space for my mom to come through. And I felt like it was because, and somebody said something earlier that made me think about this, that I'm fortunate that I can move out of the place that I was in Ohio. And not everybody has that opportunity to leave to be safe. But I feel like moving here has lifted this cloud off of me so that I can do this work. I can hear again, and I can be connected. And I feel like if there's a space that any of us can find where we can feel that sense of safety and we can reconnect back to the energy that is prevalent all around us at every given moment, that's how we make that commitment to love, is finding that place and finding that place within us and outside of us and energetically. And God, I was so thrilled to hear my mom's voice and to feel that energy and to see her happy and fulfilled. And for me, you know, I hear those chimes all day long. And for whatever reason, it felt different in that moment. It sounded different in that moment. And normally, if it were any other time, maybe I would have just like, oh, those are the chimes, and just hit play on the TV again. But I paused, and it's in that pausing that I think that we have to take, because it's easy to get into the doom and gloom of everything, because everywhere you turn, people are talking about what's happening in the world, not just in the United States, but I have students in all parts of the world, and they're all experiencing some level of angst. And I think it's that pause, that inner pause that we can take and listen and hear and feel that we are so much bigger than what's happening outside of us. We're so much more in tune. And yeah, this panel of people here, we have 16 wonderful, amazing teachers here, and we have 368 amazing teachers watching us. And that's the part of it that we have to understand, is that we all have a contribution here. We all have a voice. Each of us are making a difference in this world in some way. No matter what you do, there's a way for you to make a difference in somebody else's life, to be on somebody else's path, to make them pause and take stock of what's happening around them. And in those moments that we can take that pause and realize that we are, and somebody said this in the chat, that we are so connected. We don't even realize how connected we are to the ancestors who have gone before us, to the spirits above us, to Mother Earth below us, to each other. And it's in that recognizing the connection too, that we really shift humanity. We can't shift humanity on our own. We can't expect somebody else to do it for us. John said that in his opening. We have to be able to work together and do it together, and not just with people of like mind, but to meet the opposition, get to know them. And, you know, living in Ohio gave me an opportunity to meet people who are different than me, who think differently than me. And they're wonderful people. They're amazing people. And my brother's one of them. He voted for Trump. I could hate him. I could disown him. but he's my brother, and I know why he's suffering. He wants so badly to be able to have a leg up in this world. And so he bought the sauce and the condiments and all that went on that never got served up. But it's when we can shift out of our ego and really see each other as spiritual human beings and take those pauses. Hit pause on your TV, hit pause on your phone, and have a honest heart-to-heart conversation with those around you. And for me, last night was it was a beautiful moment, and it was a reminder of what I have allowed myself to pull back from over the last 2 years since she died. And John, I think you probably had a similar relationship to your mom as I did to mine. And it's a big loss, but my God, I'm so glad she's having fun on the other side. And thank goodness that she came through and gave me that message. Between that and today, I feel like there's been a huge shift for me personally, and I'm just grateful to be here among all of you. It's just really good to be here. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dakota.
You're welcome.
That was
I'm
beautiful.
going to turn it over to John.
Much. I miss you so much.
I miss you too,
Dakota
John.
for a year, so it's just an amazing experience. But so as we get ready to close, I just a big heartfelt thanks to all the teachers here, all the teachers watching, and this beautiful community out there. And I will just leave you with again, sit with what a commitment to love means to you, and I think you will get answers and work with co-create with spirit to find answers. And I think it was in, I don't forget whose live, maybe it was in Melanie's live this afternoon when someone was talking about this live coming up, that I think you said, Violet, this wouldn't be the last one, that we will let this settle. Let's see what comes of this. I mean, I believe that we do have a great opportunity with this app that hasn't reached its full potential. So let's just sit with it, do the work, and see what happens. That's just my closing fiat to you all. But I will close with a meta prayer that I did write in December while I was taking my pause. And that's where actually I had the words in it, a commitment to love, but I didn't realize it at the time. So this is a prayer on my profile as well. It's a meta prayer for what is going on in the world right now. So feel free to put your hands to your heart space, to your heart center, close your eyes, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And just start with a big, deep breath. Big exhale. And this is a prayer, an invocation of love, healing, and justice. It is a commitment, a remembrance, a calling in of the highest truth. For so long, love has been mistaken for something soft, something passive. But love is bold. Love is fierce. Love is the energy that transforms, that protects, that liberates. So wherever you are right now, take a deep breath. Feel your feet on the earth. Feel your heart open and allow yourself to receive these words. This is an invocation calling in the highest love and justice. I call upon the highest love, the love that awakens, the love that heals, the love that liberates. May love move through me, guiding my words, my actions, and my presence in this world. May I stand firm in love, even when fear tries to pull me away. May I have the courage to speak truth, to choose justice, to protect those who are vulnerable. May my love be bold. May my love be unwavering. May my love be the bridge that brings healing where there is pain. And this is personal strength and courage. Let this prayer be a reminder that love is not separate from truth, that healing is not separate from justice. Love is not silence in the face of harm. Love is not looking away when people are suffering. Love is action. Love is presence. Love is the force that carries us forward. And so I pray. And prayers for the listener. May I be rooted in love when the world feels unsteady. May I be fearless in truth, even when my voice shakes. May I stand for justice, knowing that love and justice are one and the same. May I release the fear that keeps me silent. May I trust in the power of love to create change. And prayers for the collective. May love reach the places that it needs most. May those who are afraid find safety. May those who suffer be met with compassion. May those who feel alone know they are seen, they are loved, and they are held. And may love be the foundation upon which we build a world of justice and truth. And a closing, a commitment to love in action. Love is not passive. Love is not silent. Love is the energy that creates transformation. Today, I commit to love, not just in my heart, but in my actions. I commit to standing in truth. I commit to choosing love, even when it's difficult. I commit to being part of the healing of this world. May I walk in love. May I be a force for healing. May I honor love in all that I do. And so it is.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, John. Absolutely beautiful.
Before we go, does anyone want to add anything? Does anyone want to share anything? We've got two new teachers here, Natalie and Nicole, and I don't want to leave without giving you an opportunity to let people know what you have going on Insight Timer. And that goes for anybody, obviously, anybody who wants to share what they've got going on, please feel free.
I can share real quick. My lives are really centered around educating people about themselves, of just really mastering your inner self, your inner world, because that is the foundation for creating the life that you want. So that's what Antara is Sanskrit for inner. And so inner mastery is where I focus most of my lives on. My meditations are really around that too. Just working with stress, anxiety, just getting a solid foundation of self under you so that you can move forward with courage in your life. So that's all I got for right now. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
100 million times and it's not enough.
Can I just say really quickly that for those who wanted ask for the prayer that I did at the opening, I added it to my community site because it was the easiest way to get it out there. So that's the website that's on my picture right here, rise.soulfire.cc. You can just join the little free plan, and there's a channel community cauldron. It's in there.
Just looking to make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. I was explaining before that my laptop is so lagged right now, and I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, and running OBS and Zoom together just really sucks it down. So those of you who keep asking me to teach you how to use OBS, I don't know what the secret is.
It's cool though. Thank you, Violet, for it. It's really awesome that you do this.
Oh, thank you. You know, I love tech, so I'm happy to do it. I'm happy that I found a way to channel my love of technology on Insight Timer because, as I said before, when I first became a teacher, I had no idea what I was going to do here. But I was like, I love technology. I'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
Violet,
Anybody else? Yes,
yeah, can I just add one thing?
please.
Super quick. There was one thing that I channeled or that came to me, and I shared it on Sunday when I did a live, but I want to share it again because I think it's very important and it's coming to me right now.
Go ahead.
It is belief in good things is paramount. And I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but it's similar to what Miss Carol shared, where your focus goes, energy goes. And it's the same thing that came to me in the meditation. Belief in good things is paramount. So.
Oh, that just sparked something for me too. If you're wondering if you're headed in the right direction, if good things are showing up, then yes. Like you just know it. There's an energy behind it. So just trust the steps.
I just wanted to also quickly maybe invite Alejandro and John too. Maybe we can bring this forward as a theme next Tuesday in the group that we're a part of, you know.
Yes.
So yeah.
Men definitely need to hear this message, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love must look like something.
Yeah.
That's something. It's standing in front of the mirror. Love looks like you. Love looks like me. So absolutely. Yes.
John and I was serious what I said before in the chat. If you want to do one a month, you tell me, I will schedule it. I'm fine with that.
And I'll be here.
This was so beautiful. I'm happy to do it again, really. I know sometimes I complain about OBS, but I'll get through it.
It has a nice resonance to it when you say it, Violet. John, I don't know if that's interesting to you to think of a commitment to love monthly gathering of the tribe.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I'm someone who thrives in collaboration, and if you've never done your human design, I don't know a lot about it. Nicole teaches about it.
Yes.
I'm really have been leaning into my human design, and by doing that, it's been amazing. And one part of my human design is collaboration. So I thrive on collaboration. So
I'm curious, what is your human design? Because now I have to know.
a manifesting generator.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to
Lots of
Nicole,
energy.
too.
I believe they say manifesting generators are the ones who change the world because we just,
Wow.
when we're lit up, you can't stop us.
And I'm a projector, so I have to wait for you to invite me.
Yeah. So Melanie
I've
is a
invited you.
manifesting generator. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Nicole for being such a patient teacher with the human design because I still have so many questions for you. And it was so crazy because yesterday I actually found out what my human design thing was. And it was like manifester. And I was like, oh, great.
Wow.
And she was like, you're like the 8% that are like you're a direct connect with God. And I was like, oh yeah, girl, I've been talking to God all my life, you know? So yeah, it's quite interesting. So you guys
Speaking
should
of Nicole and her human design, I did tell her last night that we're going to do a live on that together.
good.
So we're going to schedule that, Nicole.
I need help, Nicole. I need help because I need help.
I will
you're
be
the one
there.
I love
talk to.
I could be on my way to bed if someone says, let's talk human design. I'm wide awake, like all the energy in the world.
Yes. Well, that's why last night I was like, I know you have to go to bed, so just go.
Just out of like an administrative thing, Nicole, are you in DC?
I am.
I'm in Chevy Chase. So how about that?
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, we have to connect. I'm in Bowie, Maryland, so you may as well say DC. But yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Glad I made that connection.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, my retreat is in Virginia in March through Insight Timer. So we're going to connect.
We have to. I have also a retreat in Virginia in July.
Awesome. Excellent.
Yeah, sorry. I know my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're good. No, I love this. I love the conversations. If anybody else wants to jump in or say anything, please feel free. Now's the time. Speak now, forever hold your peace. And if you have to go, feel free. Oh,
Shauna.
Shauna, yes. Yeah.
Hi, haven't spoken. So hello. I'm in Ontario, Canada, actually. I missed a lot of what everyone's been saying. The reason that I was late coming in is I run our Pride event in our little town in rural Canada, rural Ontario, and I just want to tell a really quick uplifting story that I met with in order to get support for our community, our folks in the community, with our United Churches here in Canada, in our little tiny community, each of the pastors individually. I am not someone who has had a great relationship with organized religion. So it was a really uncomfortable for me, but also it was really uncomfortable for the pastors because they didn't know that I'm cisgendered hetero. I didn't let them know that. But so we met face to face and for coffee. And I could see how nervous they were. But the conversation was so loving and so positive, and they want to show support in such a public way. And I got to share that with our group tonight. And so I just wanted to share that love and change happens one conversation at a time. And, leaning into that discomfort, what you were saying, Dakota, about, being with those people that everyone has a story. Everyone has a reason why they believe what they believe. Everyone is hurting. So many people are hurting. And I just wanted to share that really quickly. It was so thrilling to see how uplifted the group was. We have, trans individuals in our group, and they are really scared here in Canada too. But there is so much love. So I just wanted to say thank you for letting me be here. Thank you, John, for this. Thank you, Violet and Melanie. It's lovely to see so many of you that I follow. I just wanted to say that really quick. So thank you for that opportunity. I appreciate it. And thank you for the opportunity to be here amongst you.
And thank you for sharing that. That was beautiful.
Well, I just wanted to say, first of all, I just wanted to comment on your virtual background, Violet and Melanie.
It's an amethyst crystal.
Yeah. And Melanie, you're somewhere out on Mars, it looks like. Great.
I'm in Maine. This is Maine.
Oh,
I'm
Maine.
visiting Dakota. What are you talking about? That's my dream right there.
Wait, are you really in Maine?
No, I'm in New
just
York.
virtually.
Oh, okay.
But I mentally want to be sitting next to you having a cup of tea.
Oh, well, come on up. You're not that
I
far.
love Maine, by the way. Where in Maine are you?
I'm in Durham,
Oh,
just outside of
wow.
Portland.
Okay.
Everybody always asks me, why did you move to Maine? And my response is, have you ever heard about Maine in the news? And they're like, no, exactly.
I love going there because it's so quiet. Like in the summer when everyone's going south, I go to Maine. Even in the
It is
winter.
incredibly quiet, and everybody
I
is
love the
so
peace.
freaking nice.
Yes, and very dog friendly.
And cat friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, I love Maine.
One little thing I just wanted to add in all of the beautiful sharing that's been here today, and once again, thank you to everyone, everywhere here in this incredible gathering. One thing that has been incredibly helpful for me in these times, and really not just these times, but in life, is to really tune into and discern how I interact with whatever stimulus is coming toward me. Not saying to not interact, not saying to deny or to suppress anything, nothing like that, but to just discern how am I interacting with just listening to someone? How is it landing? How are their words, how are their actions, how is their vibration landing in me? And sometimes, there's no problem, it's all just absolutely fine. And then other times, maybe without resisting, just how can I just be aware of what's happening and just not really buy into it? It's kind of like each one of us has a department store inside of, or a store inside of us. And things are kind of, rather than going and selecting them, they're kind of put on the counter. And for me, what's been so helpful and continues to be really helpful is, how do I choose what it is that I interact with and how I interact with it? And that's, again, I have to really emphasize, nothing to do with pushing anything away or bypassing or anything like that, but rather just really discerning in all of this the wisdom that everyone has, the way that it's in many ways an incredible challenge to each one of us, and a challenge that we're all, whether we signed up for it or not, we're part of, that's happening, that we all have somewhere that power and ability to recognize our strength. And love speaks in so many ways. Love speaks in silence. Love speaks in also many different ways. And I'm very happy to be embracing all of those ways, and also to be embracing this way that love speaks to me, which is in that power of discernment, to know how am I going to receive this? How am I receiving this? Do I really need to receive this in this way? Because sometimes there's a feeling of incumbency. There's a feeling that it's my duty to feel this in this way. And sometimes, maybe, possibly, it's possible to not accept, just habitually accepting, to not habitually accept a certain kind of energy in a certain way, to just observe it, and perhaps to not become weakened by it or to be threatened or challenged by it, but rather to just acknowledge, to be aware of it, certainly, and then somehow to move on. And certainly with that power of love, the power that's been spoken of here so beautifully tonight by everyone, I really feel this is not just a possibility, but it's actually happening. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kevin. I just wanted to add, someone asked me if there will be a list of all the teachers here. My laptop has been so incredibly lagged throughout this that I'm amazed that we have not had any glitches. And it's, again, I channel OBS gods. They are kind to me, so thank you. Yes, in my teacher's profile, you will find a link which will have a list of all the teachers who were with us tonight. And if I missed any questions in the chat, I apologize, but my laptop is like screaming, and it's I think it's about, actually the last message on my laptop is 23 minutes ago. So I have to look down at my phone, which, is a little tiny screen, and try to catch up on the messages. If I missed anybody's messages, I apologize. And
I think
if anybody,
you've exceeded any expectations, Violet.
Thank you. Thank you. As a tech geek, I try to stay on top of these things. If anybody
Very
else has
well.
anything they want to add, please feel free.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you all, but also to finish by saying that for me, probably love most personally is joy, and not to feel guilty for those of us who feel joy in these tumultuous times, and joy as being the greatest teacher that it is, because I think the biggest lesson in terms of moving ages is that we now are to embrace the joy of our unique gifts, of a unique way we tread this earth, and to realize that we no longer have to struggle and learn through pain and hard work. And that if you feel joy when others around you don't, please do not feel guilty about it. It's just you connecting at the deepest level with your own inner love and your own self-love. So this is what I wanted, just to express. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. John, should I put you on the spot? Will I let you have the closing words?
Oh, I thought my prayer were the closing words, but we went.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it definitely was. Alejandro.
Me?
No. If anybody has anything they want to add, no, I'm not putting anybody on the spot. If anybody has anything they want to add before we end the live, please do it.
I'll just want to invite everyone. Next week we'll be here again,
Yes.
with a beautiful, awesome, strong, and vulnerable panel of male teachers. A new perspective. I am super excited. This is something that we have talked for a few months.
Months since what, like October, I think.
Something like that. And I am so excited. And we'll continue on this journey of love, from a male perspective, from men who have done the work. And every time we press go live or upload, it's that click of the button is just years of experience and years of healing and years of walking the path. And that goes not only for next week, but for all of us here. So Melanie, John, Violet, thank you so much. Everyone who is here, listening and watching, thank you so much. To all the teachers, thank you for saying yes to love and to the identity that the divine has bestowed upon us. So thank you all so much. So much love, so much gratitude. Thank you.